Still won't be easy, I don't think. You mentioned Will Anderson. This is a guy who they gave up not only picks this year, but next year, an awful lot. But he is a very good defensive player, and he's off to a pretty good start. He also blocked a field goal the other day right up the gut, so he could be a playmaker for them on their defensive line. We will see. But one thing we talked about with the Steelers and their showing, aside from the fact that 70% of the stadium was all Steeler fans, and you were one of them, Andrew, but just the way I thought there was more cohesion to this offense. It started badly, 3 and out, and then they were looking at a third 3 and out until they went deep, and what a throw by Pickett to Calvin Austin. And again, that gives you more than what we saw last year in terms of big chunk plays for instant points. It's good to see that back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, I love that play because it's third down, and from what we've seen from the Steelers' offense this year, you would not expect that kind of dynamic play. Bob, remember last year when it would be 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 7 and they'd throw it 4 yards and we'd scream and yell like, what are you doing? Do you have any idea where the sticks are?
Yeah.
Well, now they did the opposite. I mean, it takes a lot of guts on third down when you know if it's an incomplete pass, you're giving the ball back to the other team to just air it out like that. And it wasn't to George Pickens. It wasn't to Deontay Johnson. It was to a second-year player who, for all intents and purposes, is still a rookie, with Marcus Peters, who's led the league in interceptions and been a Pro Bowler on him. So everything about that play, I love the aggressiveness, going at a good guy, trusting Calvin Austin. It worked, and I think that paved the way for what was their best offensive game of the season. There's still a lot to work on and a lot to get better at, but there were a lot of things that I had been praying for and screaming for those first 2 games. Didn't do it in the press box, though. You're not allowed to do that in Vegas. I lost my voice in other places, Bob, but not there.
I can understand.
Things that I wanted to see in those first 2 games that we did finally see in Vegas.
Yeah, the great thing about that play, too, was the fact that Warren picked up a blitz. Pickens,
yes, he did.
George Pickens was double-teamed over there, and so they were looking at him as the guy who was going to get the ball. And then when you get a guy with 4.3 speed, he's going to be, especially a guy like Marcus Peters, he can't keep up with him. Marcus Epps, both of them. Marcus's were all over the place except in the end zone. That's where Calvin Austin was. We're going to take a break here, Andrew. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the stuff that went on in that game, including Josh McDaniels and what he did at the end. I didn't figure it out. And then when I heard him talk, it made it just ridiculous what he said afterwards. We'll talk about that. The Pirates, they played tonight. They lost in 10 innings, but there was a thing in the top of the 10th that bothered me. I want to ask Andrew about that. And the Penguins played a preseason game in Detroit. A couple of young players showing up pretty good. We'll talk about it all and get your phone calls next right here live. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We are here for you on KDKA Plus and simulcast on 93.7 The Fan.